Today is May the 18th, and I'm going to start the process of increase on most of these overwintered colonies. They overwintered in 5/5 frames, and in the spring I put them in 10 frame equipment and let them grow into another 10 frames of drawn comb. There are several conditions that have to be met for these colonies to be ready. The colonies need to be strong, healthy, and the weather has to be right. Here in western Wisconsin the weather can be fickle, and so I like to defer this process until I am certain that when the virgin queens emerge, there will be 2 weeks with 70° or higher of flying weather and drones for mating. On average, that puts us into late May and early June. Additionally, one has to look at one's own calendar and ensure that you are free a week after step 1 to perform step 2. Today I'm going to perform step 1, which is to locate and remove the queens from the colonies and notch some cells following the principles of Mel Disselkin of MDAsplitter.com. The colonies, which will be now queenless and strong, will remain raise queens under the emergency impulse. A week later in step 2, these queen cells should be sealed, and I will come back and divide the frames amongst these new boxes that I've got ready over here. I don't split all the colonies I have. Those that have a bad temperament do not make the cut. I use those for a different purpose. Whilst their genetics are not an asset, their brood is. These boxes contain brood that I took from some grumpy colonies in my home yard, and each of the good mothers that I remove from this yard will get a frame of these grumpy bees, a shake of bees from their mother colonies, parent colonies I should say, a frame of honey, and a couple more frames that I've brought along from home in these boxes. I will take them away in these boxes and have them at home as reserves. They can easily be used to requeen grumpy production colonies or supply brood as I need it. Okay, let's see what's going on in this hive. We'll give it a few puffs of smoke. We'll take the lid off. Quick check on the lid to check the queen's not there. I don't see her there, that's okay. Now I'm going to go through this hive and look and see if I can find the queen. So it took a couple of minutes. We went through the hives completely once, and I don't know if you can see the queen here in the bottom corner, but she's right there. Took a few minutes to locate her, went through the hive a second time, and found her on the middle frame of the box the second time through. So now what I'm going to do is come over to here, keep an eye on that queen, we don't lose her, and put it in this box. Can you see her where she's gone?
No, in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, let me get out of my own light. That's why she was so hard to locate. She's a hider. There she is. Okay. So where did she go now? Find her again. There she is, hiding in the corner. She does not like the light. Pick her up. So go into this colony, shake some bees in. Bees that are added into strange boxes, a laying queen is usually treated very well. There's some confusion. She's not treated the same as a virgin queen, and so a mixture of those bees and these bees should be enough to keep her going, and there she is. She should be quite happy and reserved. So I'm just going to close that up and let them settle down. Okay, so now we have a hive that's queenless. The bees will need to raise queen cells. They will make queen cells wherever they see fit, but it's helpful to try to give them a start like Mel Disselkin does. And how he does that is he takes a frame of larvae that's just emerging. I don't know if you can see this over my shoulder here. And when the larva is emerging, it's so small it's barely visible. So the best way to try and find it is to try and find the eggs and then just go and notice where you see the larva that's next to it that's tiny. I can barely see it even with my trifocals. There's a little patch right there. If you see that there. Can you see that by there? Or not? I'm not sure. Anyway, so you get the idea. So what you do is you just take your hive tool and you pull that down like so, and that gives the bees access, direct access to feed these larvae as much as they want. And sometimes they choose these as they do for Mel, and sometimes, because I'm a clumsy klutz, I have to be careful how I say that, but sometimes it doesn't work that way and they put them somewhere else. When I come back a week later, I'm going to look for frames with at least one good queen cell on, and that queen cell will be used in the splits that we should come back and do next week. Okay, thank you. And so a little more on the making the cells. I don't want, when I'm trying to make the cells, I don't want them on the very edges of the comb. If I have them on the very edges of the comb, I'm inclined to bump them off. I like them at the center of the comb, and I'll make sure that they're at the center, not roughly this area, so it's not too close to the edge. And then I'll put them in and make sure that towards the center of the hive. I don't put the ones on the very edge. When I'm looking to make a colony to work with, this one meets criteria because I've got at least brood on at least 8 frames, and the frames of sealed brood, pull this one out, oh, that's a bit of nectar. The frames that I've got, this is an ideal kind of start for next week. Each colony will get adhering bees and two to three of these. And so in order to make 4 5-frame colonies from this double deep, each colony will get about 2 of these and the frames of nectar to go with, and they'll be pretty well set up. If you notice this colony, despite the fact I've been in here for a few minutes now finding the queen, it's still a good-natured colony. I can move my hand over the top of here. I'm not being bombarded by very many bees. A few are saying, what the hell are you doing? But most of them are leaving me alone. So, and then in case you're wondering, this the only wood frame I've got in here is the frame that I use for drone removal to help with cutting out the mites. So when I come back next week, this will be taken out, and I'll just put an empty drawn or undrown frame there, depending on what I've got on hand. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to get back to work.